President Trump sets deadline for Ukraine to accept terms, while Putin endorses U.S. peace plan. Who is about to bow? Russian President Vladimir Putin has endorsed a U.S. drafted peace plan for ending the war in Ukraine, signaling that the proposal could serve as the basis for a final settlement. The move comes as U.S. President Donald Trump pressures Kyiv to accept the plan by next Thursday. Now, the leaked 28-point document developed by the Trump administration demands significant concessions from Ukraine, including ceding territory still under its control, allowing Russia to retain occupied regions such as Crimea, Donetsk and Luhansk, holding elections within 100 days, scaling down its military and abandoning its bid to join NATO. Trump sets deadline. Putin shows support. Is Ukraine being pushed? And will Ukraine accept? Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has described the moment as one of the most difficult in the country's history, warning that Kyiv may be forced to choose between preserving national dignity and maintaining U.S. support. His address followed reports that Washington could withdraw military assistance if Ukraine rejects the plan. Let's take a look.
Ukraine faces extraordinary pressure. We are potentially facing a difficult choice: surrender our dignity or risk losing a key partner. Either we accept these difficult 28 points or we face an extremely difficult winter. I'll argue our position, I'll push back, I'll propose alternatives, but we won't give the enemy a reason to claim Ukraine doesn't want peace.
Meanwhile, the United States has renewed pressure on Kyiv, reaching a level unseen since March, when Trump temporarily halted intelligence sharing and weapons transfers. Senior U.S. officials, including Vice President J.D. Vance and Army Secretary Dan Driscoll, are now central to the diplomatic push. Analysts note that the proposed conditions leave Ukraine in an untenable position. While Kyiv has adapted to reduce U.S. intelligence support by relying on commercial satellite data, it remains heavily dependent on Western weaponry, particularly Patriot air defense systems needed to counter Russia's missile attacks. That will see that European allies can fill part of the gap, but losing the U.S. as a strategic partner would significantly weaken Ukraine's defense posture. Inside Ukraine, the plan has triggered anger and frustration. Many see it as aligning with Russia's maximalist demands and undermining Ukraine's sovereignty. Public figures argue that the plan emboldens Russia and undermines the sacrifices made since the invasion began. Zelensky is also facing political pressure at home amid a corruption scandal that critics say is eroding public trust at a very critical time. So now, despite growing pressure, Zelensky has held a series of calls with European leaders and NATO officials as Kyiv prepares a counter-proposal. His office says Ukraine, the US, and Europe will continue negotiations in the coming days. Meanwhile, Putin has reiterated that Russia received the US plan during the Leaders' Summit in Alaska earlier this year and described the newly revealed version as a modernized draft. Could this be favorable for Russia and then not so favorable for Ukraine? He claims that Moscow agreed to show flexibility during those talks, though Kyiv rejected the terms. While diplomatic maneuvering continues, Russian attacks on Ukrainian cities persist, highlighting the ardent stakes surrounding the peace negotiations.